Hello, everybody. Welcome to the interview part of the Just Talk podcast. I'm here with Jackson Parker.
What's going on?
So, my first question here in this interview part is your autograph. So, how did you come up with your autograph here?
I mean, when I first came here, we had maybe 3-4 guys with the name Jackson. And they were like, yeah, that's too confusing, so we're just going to call you JP. And that was the birth of JP.
Got it.
Love
And
the
then you got to
story.
put the number there. Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Number 10.
That's actually my biggest pet peeve is I think I went to, it was a Michigan game, and like 3 of the players didn't write their number. And now I'm like going through like Reddit, subreddits, trying to figure out who these people are. And it's like the biggest mess. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome here. Now, my next question is, so when I had these gloves, you ran back in the locker room, brought these out. It's awesome. But where did they come from?
It was from the staff, my man, Connor Russell. He's not here anymore. My new guy, Evan, gave me a fresh pair. So I had to come give them to you. I didn't want to give you my super sweaty pair, fresh off the hand.
The funny thing is, I also had that pair already from Marquise Dietz. So with the white UA one. So now I have the purple and the white ones here. So I was just curious, so you guys just have like a bin of just like gloves in there and like a frenzy.
Yeah, he's collecting all of them. He's trying to get all the gloves.
I gotta see which ones I all have here. I had the purple, I got the white. So I don't know which variations there were. I got the defensive lineman ones, the really puffy
Padded
ones.
ones.
Padded ones.
Yeah. That one's got blood on it. So
Oh,
I don't know whose blood it is, but it's somebody's. Now, speaking of that Stony Brook game, actually, that game was chaos when it comes to the roster. I mean, there's so many people out. They only put in Lindsey for a drive, took him out, put in Van Weber in for his first start. Well, not first start, but first game playing. So how is it transitioning with all these different roster changes at once?
I mean, we practice, every day. We've been practicing since spring. So I'm used to catching these guys and playing with them chemistry-wise. But in moments like that for Van, you get to see what he's made out of. It was a little bit of a shocker for him. But, I mean, he went out there and played well, I believe, for his first ever collegiate game. So,
Yeah, the one call I didn't understand. So it was, you guys did like back-to-back QB sneaks at the one. I personally didn't understand it because it's his first game ever. That's too much pressure. And it was freezing out. And obviously JoJo and Faisal have been awesome this year. So I just thought, pounded at the one, but I knew you were going to laugh at that, of course. But, they didn't. And it was a fumble, unfortunately. But actually, it was 2 fumbles. So I thought after the first fumble, they would switch it, but they didn't. But you know what? It's whatever. Well, we beat Stony Brook the year before. We'll beat them next year. It's just we'll give them this year just to enjoy it because they're not going to get it again. Now, my next question here. So go back, building off. Was it so this is 3 quarterbacks you've had this season.
yeah.
So was it hard to adjust each quarterback, or was it because of the training camp and stuff like that? Were you able to transition smoother?
I mean, you definitely, when you're in game and the bullets are flying, you see what people are made out of. So you have to get used to just playing in that type of pressure and environment. But again, we repped so many times, it wasn't like anything I haven't seen before. It was just more sort of getting comfortable and playing.
Now, in 2023, you played 3 games and you were hurt for the rest of the season with a ACL injury.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, how is that on you mentally? Because a lot of times we've heard on this podcast even that these ACL injuries can take a mental toll, and sometimes that's most of the battle.
Yeah, I feel like mentally it's probably the biggest part, just being stuck in my house, in my bed, literally can't even move, and a lot of pain. So that was the biggest part of probably gaining my confidence back, in myself, believing that I could do what I've already done, and then getting confidence back in the ACL again and trusting it.
Now, my question is, so you played obviously with 2 NFL receivers in Brevin Easton and Julian Hicks. Have they helped you at all how you developed your game on the roster?
Most definitely. I mean, I talk to those guys all the time, literally just on the phone with Drew yesterday. But, I remember in practice when they first came in, we'd be in practice trying to come up with new releases, come up with flashier releases, make better catches. We was competing every single day. So it really definitely pushed us to a new level, to the point where everybody in the squad was good. It didn't matter who was in. We had ballers out there.
Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure here you're the longest Albany receiver that was on the team because Levi transferred and everybody else is younger. So my question for you is, how have you had like a leadership role in the receiver locker room when everybody's coming in, a lot of new transfers, freshmen and stuff like that?
Was definitely. I mean, especially last year, we had a bunch of new guys come in there. So as somebody who's been here and just knows how the program works and how things are supposed to go, like a lot of guys will, ask me for advice, whether it be football, school, life. And I feel like I definitely became an outlet for some of the guys to like feel comfortable talking.
Also, like to add to that, why would you stay for as long?
That sounds awful.
Like in the most respectful way, like you know what I'm saying? Like in the most respectful way, like why would you stay? Because usually, I mean, you see how it is now. Guys are transferring after 1 year, 2 years. Things don't go their way for a few games. Now they're sitting out for the whole season. It's a lot of different situations that come up. But why would you stay, like, for the full stretch that you've been here?
Saying this last year or the full duration?
Yeah, just the full duration.
I mean, for me, I came in, I was blessed to play as a freshman. I had a pretty good freshman season. Well, I mean, COVID hit first. I came in mid-year 2020. So I was here for like 2 weeks, and then COVID hit and really shut everything down. And we played that COVID season, so I got like a little prelude to college football. And then my freshman year was 2021, and I had a good season. Ended up staying for 2022. I had another decent season. I don't know, I just didn't feel like I accomplished enough to achieve my goals fully yet. And I do feel some loyalty to this place because they're, invested in me
for sure
and helped develop me. So that's really what it was.
My next question is, one of your cousins played lacrosse here in like the early 2010s. Did she influence you on coming to Albany at first?
I mean, I came back in the day. I came and saw her play. Her name was Ariana Parker. She was
Ariana.
a dog at lacrosse, like All-American and everything. I don't know. I mean, I had connections here already, but it was more so the visit and the people here that influenced it more than her.
Was there any other schools you were debating on, or was Albany straight from the gate?
I had a few other offers. My first offer was Sacred Heart, and I
play them soon.
Oh yeah, we play Sacred Heart
next week.
It's funny. Albany was actually my second offer, and then I had a couple more like Rhode Island, Maine, like a lot of the CAA.
That's pretty cool then. So the teams that you were thinking about, you were able to play while you were here multiple times because of the CAA conference. Now, my next question for you is, was there a player that inspired your game at all?
There was a few players that I really liked watching, like Calvin Johnson. I was a big fan. Randy Moss, and like a Tavon Austin college highlight is crazy.
Yeah, it seems like when it comes to Tavon Austin's highlight reel, it's like that's what got a lot of receivers in love with the position because it was more of he was more of a joystick player. Obviously Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss have these crazy over the head catches, but when you see Tavon Austin, what he was able to do in the open field, I mean, it's something that from my eyesight, he's only like Terrell Owens and like a few plays that really were able to do in the NFL. So it was really cool to watch. I mean, it's pretty much a running back playing receiver. Unfortunately, he just retired, but yeah, no, Tavon Austin, what a legend, especially in the college atmosphere. Now, my next question for you is, what led you to enter the portal? I know you were talking about before about how you accomplished a lot this season. So was that a major role in that?
I mean, through my career, I feel like I accomplished a lot of my life goals, like playing D1 football, like making an impact on the team. But I've been here for a while, 5 years now. So I think at this point in my career, I'm ready to get some new experiences, expand my game, my knowledge of football, meet some new people.
Now, I don't know if you're allowed to say anything about this, but is there a priority of what you're looking for? Like, do you want to go to a Power 5, non-Power 5? Do you want to go
like, is there a level, or is it like
anything you're looking for in particular?
Specific location, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty open to my options. Like, I don't have any specific region or anything. I'll go across the country if I have to. Like, there's nothing holding me back.
But like, do you know if you are open to staying in the FCS, or do you want to go to the FBS, or?
Either or. I just want to play at the highest level I can and make an impact somewhere and blossom to the player I know I am.
All I'm saying is I hope if you stay in the FCS, that it's not in the CAA. I don't have to go against you on the other side. You put me in a tough spot here.
I will say there's been a few in contact.
from the CAA.
Inside scoop.
That's unfortunate. Well, I'll make sure to scare him away, whether it be Nova or any of those schools, especially Stony Brook.
Yeah, that's a crazy move, Stony Brook.
And they beat you in the Golden Apple.
Yeah.
Stony Brook. You got people. He'd be called KD from now on at that point. So JP, KD, change the initials there.
No comment.
So now my question here is: you can look in that comment, that camera when you answer it. Is if you had one message to tell the teams in the portal, what would it be?
Man, you're gonna be getting a dog. I've already done it. I have the experience. Adding me to a roster will only improve your team, regardless of my role.
Awesome. Now, my last question for you here is: so last season you didn't get to play much, and it was we into the semifinals in the college football playoffs for FCS. Now, have you noticed a difference between that team and the team this season? Why the wasn't the same success?
I mean, that last team, that was like a 2-year development. We were here all in 2022, and almost everybody returned for 2023, and we added a few guys. So it wasn't, this team was very new. A lot of new guys, like not a lot of experience. The chemistry maybe wasn't at the level it should have been. So I feel like that was really the biggest difference. Just being around it already, having the chemistry and the bonds. And like those were things we didn't have to worry about or work on.
So would you say like for a small school like Albany, the transfer portal was kind of hurt in a way because it's more of players come here, get what they need, and kind of leave? I mean, you were saying here, we've had a lot of graduate transfers come in this season. Whether it be Faisal, whether it be Devin McGee, whether it be Jamal. So do you think that affected how the team was able to develop?
I mean, that's what football is nowadays. Transfer portal definitely changed the game. There's definitely a lot of pros and some cons to it. Like I don't want to go too much into it, but it just makes it. It just gets a lot of new personalities. But it definitely helps. I mean, that 2023 team, we had a lot of new guys, so and they were all really good. So
it's kind of like look at the draw at that point. It's like, you could do what you have to, but I mean, you're not gonna know how it's gonna plan out until.
Yeah,
especially
you gotta hope you get the right ones.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want
to
change your whole team. But at the same time, a lot of guys come and go.
I feel like it's not even a skill thing from what I've seen. It's more of how can they just adapt to the environment they're getting put into.
Yeah, I think it's more of a. I might just speak on like a basketball side. It's like it's how much you want to buy into it. Especially you're at a place where the people who stayed 2-3 years is very slim. So you're coming in, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do what I got to do, and I'm gonna get out of here. It's kind of the mindset of the majority of like people who transfer in. But when they buy in, I think that's when the team has more success.
Yeah, I think you've seen even more to a more dramatic extent because it seems like for the basketball team, it's like 80% of the team's gone.
Yeah, I mean, we got 10 guys out and in every year. So
and there's only 15 people on the roster. And football is like, what is it? 100 people. There's not 100 transfers coming in. So that's kind of how it works. But also football, you don't really get a full roster of scholarships. I think I don't know how it works, but
I mean, we in the past we got 63, I believe, or 65, but they just changed the rule, like FBS and FCS. So now FBS has no more walk-ons. You're getting like 100 scholarships.
Really?
I think FCS just got bumped up to 83 scholarships now.
So FCS is 83 and FBS is 100?
Yeah, I believe so. My numbers aren't perfect, but
around there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No more walk-ons.
So there's gonna be a lot of new.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how the schools feel about that because they're already giving 100 people a free ride. I mean, that's awesome. But one thing I have to say is EA, fix your game because you allow 35 scholarships. And now I'm hearing out they get 100. I'm out here, playing, as Penn State, struggling here saying, oh, sorry, I only have 35 scholarships. Meanwhile, I could have 100. So, CFB 26, make sure there's 100 scholarships in that game.